The Mutt Lange Snare tuning trick. Next on Music Surgery with me, Dr. Bob. Hey you guys, quickly before we get started, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. And don't forget to check out the Doctor's Lounge, my store, and the links to some great samples below in the description of this video. So how do you pick the right snare for the song? Well, let's learn from one of the greatest ever, Mutt Lange, as there is a specific aspect to almost every snare on every record that he's produced. Watch this.
A lot goes into picking a snare. When we mix and we turn the volume down really low, the two things that most of the time pop out are the lead vocal and the snare. At low levels, this is what you want. But in a lot of music, rock, pop, country, the snare is the thing that's the element that's right below the lyric, right below the lead vocal. So it's an extremely important element of our music. So let me play you this and we'll talk about it. Here we go. All right, the verse of a song, we have a lead vocal doubled, and then we have the snare. Now, this is a rather high-pitched snare. I would say medium to high, not quite piccolo. But one thing I've learned from a lot of Mutt Lange records that's absolutely brilliant is he normally, almost always, doesn't pick a snare that's tuned up that high. Why is that? Well, there's two reasons that I've been able to come up with that I think. One is this snare drum is very close to, and a lot of high-pitched snares are, very close to the range of a rock singer or a female singer or someone that's a tenor. Listen to where this snare is compared to where their voice is. Rise again, light the air, fire burning everywhere, raise your arms. So, what that makes me do is in a mix, I have to turn the snare down. I can compress it and I can try to pop it up, but no matter what I do, the fundamental of that snare, where it rings, the pitch of it, because it's a high snare or medium to high snare, it's always going to be in the way of a tenor singer. So I've got to turn it down. If I turn it up, rise again, light the air, with fire burning everywhere, raise your arms up high. You can tell it's getting in the way of that vocal. Here it is in the whole track. It's not bad, but where it really needs to impact the tune for the song to really drive the song, I'm getting too close to the singer's register. So now let's switch. Let's go to a lower pitch snare and see how that sounds. Rise again, light the air, fire burning everywhere. Immediately you can tell now, hearing a lower pitch snare next to the singer, it's not anywhere near the singer's range, and you can really hear the lyrics better, and I can keep turning this up. Rise again, light the air, fire burning everywhere, raise your arms up high. Tonight we're gonna live again. So there you go. Lots of power and impact, but out of the way of the vocal. Now, let's mute the vocal. This is the second reason I think that Mutt chooses these type of snares. You can hear it in Hysteria. You can hear it in Back in Black, Foreigner 4, The Cars, Heartbeat City. Even in the Nickelback stuff he did, it's not a high-pitched snare. That was a much more recent record. It's got Dark Horse. But it's not a really high-pitched snare. So let's go back to the high-pitched snare. And without the vocal, let's listen to the track. Good snare, cuts through, it's got a lot of throatiness, but listen what happens if you use a lower snare, what happens to the track. Immediately, your track becomes thicker. These snare drums are normally hitting twice a measure. So if you've got something that's thicker, a lower tuned snare, everything sounds bigger. Now, listen, there's lots of records I love. The Police being a huge one, where the snare is not tuned low. This is just something, this is a recommendation. And really, the Police snare shouldn't work because Stuart Copeland's got it cranked up, and Sting is a high singer, but it does. I mean, you have a fabulous mixer, Hugh Padgham, that knew exactly what to do with that. But and a low-tuned snare wouldn't work with their reggae pop thing as much. So, but what I'm saying is, when you're picking snares or you're on a tracking session, listen to the singer's voice, where the key is to the song, and see if the snare's getting in the way. A lot of times, a low snare like this, it just adds so much more meat, so much fullness to the track. Even though the other snare sounds great too, the low snare is going to get out of the way of the singer, and it's going to really beef up your track. So always keep in mind, where is the singer singing this, and what can I do to make sure that I can turn the snare up in the mix right under the singer, but it doesn't get in the way of the lyrics.
Well, there you go. Tuning a snare that's out of the range of the singer that also thickens up your track. Leave it to Mutt Lange to figure this out. Remember these snare tuning techniques on your next tracking session or as you pick samples for your next song. Thanks as always for watching. Give me some comment love and a thumbs up below, and hit me at drbobmusicsurgery@gmail.com if you want to say hello or you want me to work on your music. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you the next time the doctor's in.